I'm the man now. Nobody ever gave a handout. For the stretch, talking grams loud. Cut them off, get the hand out. Bro talk, what's that about?
Yo, what's going on, people? You know who it is. It's Taylor's broadcasting live and direct for the Man Cave as usual. For those subscribers out there that is not subscribed to the YouTube channel or the Twitter page, please hit that bell and that bird at TAE_WIGGS. And of course, the link to my website is below. First and foremost, we'll get right into it with this weekend wrap up around the NBA playoffs. We know this past Saturday, we had the Golden State Warriors taking on New Orleans Pelicans. And in order for the Pelicans to have to win, they had to regain ground on their home court to come home and trying to find a way to beat the Golden State Warriors. We already knew that the New Orleans Pelicans, since All-Star break, they was the last place team in fast pace. But after the All-Star break, they became the fastest paced team. They went from like 29th all the way to number 1 ranking and pace of the speed of the game. So with that being said, we know the New Orleans Pelicans had to take care of home court at home at the Smoothie King Center. The one thing you want to do is get it going early. I like what they did, especially the New Orleans Pelicans. They start playing the Golden State Warriors type of basketball, spreading the floor, moving the ball around, and knocking down threes. And with that being said, the Pelicans won this game 119 to 110. The score may indicate something a little bit different. It may like it was closer to what it was, but this game was out of hand way before then. Kevin Durant had 22 points. As Kevin Durant playing with a sharpshooting team like this, as him being one of the lethal primary weapons on this team, it is just so hard. Like, he's a 7-footer that got handles. He can dribble, shoot, and we're looking forward for Kevin Durant with a team like this. You're looking for KD to take over a little bit more, especially going down the third and fourth quarter. We didn't see that as much because the game was out of hand, but you can't. They say he's probably the second best player in the NBA or around the world, but at the same time, you want him to step up and be that second best player around the world during the whole game. You know what I'm saying? You know, yeah, you're going to get blown out every time, but if you're trying to make a statement and win championship games and trying to get back to that next level, you have to step it up. 22 points is just not enough if you want to beat New Orleans Pelicans team. The New Orleans Pelicans bench is not the strongest or the deepest bench in the league. But furthermore, Draymond Green had 11 points, 12 rebounds to go along with 9 assists. Him and Rajon Rondo. So far, this has been an intriguing series because which one of these guys is going to break through first and throw a punch? That's what I'm waiting on first because we know Rondo can get under your skin just like Draymond Green. Both of these guys are instigators. Which one of these instigators gonna fuel the next person? That's what I'm waiting for. Then you got Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Both of these guys was 3 for 9 from the 3-point line. They was 6 for 18, and it's just not going to get down either. You know, you had Klay with 27 points and 7 rebounds, and you're just looking for more from these guys. We know this team has what it takes to get back to the NBA championship. It's just the way they do things. You know, every now and then you are entitled to lose a game. Steph Curry, like I said, 19 points, 4 assists, and he had 2 blocks. I'm looking at the 4 steals he had. That's you know what I'm saying. That's pretty good. But the two blocks is actually pretty great too. I just feel like this team right here to go to State Warriors. Everybody always saying how deep their bench is. They don't have a deep bench either, because I'm looking at where most guys in their starting lineup be playing 30-something plus minutes. If you want to win championship games, your bench is a valuable piece to the puzzle of hoisting that trophy. We know the Warriors took that loss 110 and 119. We're going to swing things now to the New Orleans Pelicans. What I thought was a great look for them, like I said, the key word was bench, and the bench helped out a lot on this game too. The key part I looked at this for the New Orleans Pelicans, a familiar foe for the Golden State Warriors, now New Orleans Pelicans. Ian Clark came off the bench with 18 points against his old team, which I thought was great because that can shake the cobwebs off and get them going and loosen up a little bit more. So don't be surprised if you see his number get called a little bit more down these last couple of games, because I thought he was a valuable piece to the team, especially he knows where to go on the floor to keep a Steph Curry contained. Remember, this guy had to guard Steph Curry pretty much a lot during the regular season and practice during the playoff season. So you look at a familiar guy, he can tell you where he like to go on the floor. Only sky's the limit. Like I said, Rajon Rondo, 4 points, 10 rebounds, 21 assists. Like, the whole deal is Rondo don't have to go out there and give you 25 points. Rondo can give you 6 points, 11 rebounds, and 18 assists, and you can still walk away with a victory. But this guy is something special. I keep saying it before. He's a true quarterback for a basketball team. He leads this team like none other. I know people say quarterback. We talk about basketball. I know. I said he lead his team like a quarterback for his basketball team. This guy's what you want in the point guard. He's a playmaker. He's going to put you in the right. When I mean put you in the right position to score a basket, that is him. He's going to put you in the right place to make a basket. Drew Holiday, another person, 21 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. He's picked it up so much and on another level. I'm trying to figure out what this team be like if they had Boogie there. Because, their pace won't be that fast with Boogie. They had to slow the game down a little bit more. Do you think this team can give the Golden State Warriors still a legitimate shot with a healthy DeMarcus Cousins? We do not know because right now they're getting a heavy dose of the Pelicans right now with no Boogie Cousins. So, if the Pelicans come out with this same intensity of fire, next game, they can tie the series at 2-2 and take it back to Golden State and had a best-of-5 series. And so far, so good right now that the Warriors are being challenged. Like I said, Nikola Miterovic, 16 points, 13 rebounds. Hitting threes, spreading the floor, playing defense. I thought when the Bulls traded him away, New Orleans Pelicans game, the Chicago Bulls lost. The reason why it's a game for the Pelicans, he's in the playoffs. He cut the beard off. He has no beard. They had a promo going around. Fans who had beards at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, they can get their beard shaved off for a great cause. So they did that. And I thought ever since he got there, he's been a great asset. A shoulder to lean on, especially for somebody like Anthony Davis who can't get it going. And you got him who can shoot threes, 15-footers, and can put you in the post. Not only put you in the post, he defends. That's what you like from him. Anthony Davis, you can't say no more. 38 points and 18 rebounds. Anthony Davis, I said it the other day, if they want to win, Anthony Davis have to come out here and score, at least give you 40 and 15 every game to beat these Warriors because they have really no answer for him. And the craziest part about it, he can pretty much do some of the same things like Kevin Durant, but he just don't get mentioned because he's a power forward. He can shoot threes. He can go inside. He can shoot a jump shot. He got handles. This guy used to be a point guard. He used to be a 6-foot point guard before he grew 9 to 10 inches in the last 2 or 3 years of his early childhood youth. So you're looking at this team. I thought Alvin Gentry put a great game plan together to come out here and beat these Warriors. Not only he's been his Warriors coaching staff, he know what these players like to do. And the one thing I like about what I'm seeing from the Pelicans is beating the Warriors to their spots on defense. That is great. The series is 2-1, Golden State. The plan is keep the Warriors on the 3. The plan is for the Pelicans. If the Warriors want to beat the Pelicans, you got to keep the Pelicans for not going inside, attacking rim. You got to guard their 3. Next game, the Houston Rockets and the Utah Jazz. I had the Utah Jazz getting swept. They still squeaked one win out. They got the socks knocked right off of them, the Utah Jazz. They gave up 70 points in the first half. When you give up 70 or 60 points in the first half, it's going to be a long battle uphill to climb. And you just can't do that. I'm looking at where Joe Ingles had 6 points, 2 for 10 for shooting. He hit that 1-3 in the first quarter to open the game up. Then he scored another 3-pointer, and that was it. You cannot have a first quarter where you only score 6 points and go MIA second, third, and fourth quarter. That's a bad recipe for disaster and spell loss. I'm looking at Derek Favors, another guy, 2 points, 1 for 4. Not going to get it done. Rudy Gobert, 12 points, 9 rebounds. For them to win, Joe Ingles had to have 14. Derek Favors got to have 12. And we know Rudy Gobert going to have between 12 and 16 points. But this team right now get caught up in a trail win. I'm looking at where this team can be more. They basically step up more. You had Royce O'Neal with 17 points. Donovan Mitchell had 10 points, which is my rookie of the year. I feel like he was forcing a lot of shots, Donovan Mitchell was. I understand he's trying to carry the team. That's what a competitor and a true warrior do. But sometimes you gotta get the other guys the ball. Get them. I understand. I guarantee you next game he won't do that. But he's playing at an all-time high. His mind is going 1,000 miles per minute. And I'm looking at where, slow it down, young fella. Slow it down. Just because you know you can get some of your baskets at will, mean you're going to come out here every night and do the same thing. Just slow it down, take your time, and get to the baskets. Don't rush your shots. The whole thing what people do like against the Warriors and the Houston Rockets, if the Rockets come out there and shoot 5 threes in a row, the other team, the other opponent will try to do the same thing. That is not your game. That's not your gimmick. Slow the game down and play your type of basketball with your team. You know what your team can do. You're not going to win like that. As you go to Houston, James Harden had 25 points, 12 assists, CP3 with 15 and 7, Gordon Hayward with 25, and Clint Capella with 11 and 8. They ran this team out the gym. They ran them out the gym. Don't be surprised if Houston come out and do the same thing again to win this game. As I'm looking at where this team can get better is, you got to get more from P.J. Tucker and Trevor Ariza. Yes, we know Trevor Ariza scored 11. I know P.J. Tucker had 9. But you got to get more from these guys to really send a message to the other teams in the Western Conference playoffs, because you lost to Utah and y'all still look beatable, Houston. To be honest with you, you still look beatable, because every night you're not going to bring it. I know this team has potential to have a championship aspiration, but it's something else that they're not bringing to the table that I can see. They just can't let up all the time on certain teams. This team honestly should be up 3-0, but we know game 2, they let them in. So if they come out of this game 4, and keep going and going and going, this series gonna be over pretty fast. Switching gears over, like I said, to last night's game. The Boston Celtics and the 76ers. That was a great game. And first and foremost, you want to get praises to Jason Tatum, the second rookie since 1980, Larry Legend Bird, to score 20-plus points and 5 straight playoff games. And it's so crazy, like I'm saying this, that Jason Tatum is not getting no mentions for Rookie of the Year just because his team is scoring by committee. This team is coming out day in, day out, and doing what they're supposed to do. I'm looking at where it's almost like the Patriots way. Do your job. And I know the fans up there in Beantown love them some Boston sports. I'm looking at where Jason Tatum had 24 points. And the mismatch is becoming J.J. Redick. Every time somebody's on J.J. Redick, their scoring option abilities goes higher. He's your weak link on defense. J.J. Redick cannot guard anyone on that Celtics team because he can't guard Scary Terry, mismatch. Marcus Smart, mismatch. Jaylen Brown, mismatch. I'm trying to figure out why is Brett Brown not making no adjustments to him. Why they don't have a Robert Covington guarding him. Why does Ben Simmons is not on Jason Tatum? I'm still trying to figure it out watching this series. I'm watching this series. I am looking for the adjustment on the defense on Jason Tatum. And he's going to the hole at will. Terry Rozier, 18 points, 7 rebounds. Still playing at an all-time high level right now. This team, it's kind of weird because you were trying to figure out when Kyrie Irving went down, where their scoring options going to come from. Who's going to do this? Who's going to lead this team in scoring? And they're getting scoring from him. And he's a defender. I don't know if you watch his games at Louisville. The same thing he's doing right now for the Celtics is the same thing he was doing for the Louisville Cardinals. Breaking it hard every night. Leaving it without no doubt. Jaylen Brown, another person. Isaiah Thomas, the real Isaiah Thomas that played for the Pistons, said when he got drafted to the Celtics, he's going to be a steal in the draft just because he's a lone defender, a ball handler, and he can score. So Isaiah Thomas, I'm shouting you out. The real Zeke that played for the Detroit Pistons, back-to-back champions in the 80s. Called that out to Jaylen Brown would be a prolific player in the league. And he's a game changer. They do what they're supposed to do. And I want to give a shout out to Al Horford. Al Horford was 0 for 2 from the three-point line. He said, scratch this. I'm going back inside. Like I said, we can live with Joel Embiid getting 22 points and 19 rebounds. As long as somebody else is not doing the same thing, it's going to be a long game and a long series for the 76ers. And they keep saying about trust the process. Like I said, remember I told you that process is at 50%. They're still trying to download it. It's stuck right now. It dropped all the way back down to 10% now. That process is 10% downloading. So that's where their season at 10% almost over. And not only Al Horford had 2 steals, he had the key steal of the game in overtime. He had 3 blocks, 6 rebounds, and 13 points. And on that play they ran in overtime and scored that basket. To go in overtime, the back, they had a smaller defender. There was nobody over the top of the defense to help him out. 9 times out of 10, when you got a game that close, everybody guarding the 3-point line. One thing I seen a mismatch. Joel Embiid was at the 3-point line trying to guard Tatum. They had what's name? I think it was, I want to say either Ben Simmons or Robert Covington on Al Horford. He scored an easy deuce to tie the game up at 98. So you're looking at where they go. They called a timeout. 76ers called a timeout. Had a little play ran. They kicked the ball to Marco Bellinelli. They thought he shot a 3. The cannons go off. Confetti falls down. Premature celebration. They go back and review it. The coach leaves. The coach thought the game was over. His foot was on the line. He had on white shoes. You could see his toes over the line. 2-pointer. Going overtime. It's like a pinball machine game. They kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They score. Al Horford come down, get the key steal. Game-winning free throws. And Al Horford sealed the deal. And the play before that in the overtime, they ran the play out of bounds before they got the key steal. Ben Simmons, what was you thinking on that last play? What was you thinking? Your back was turned. On that play, you ran straight past the ball. That was bad coaching decision on Brett Brown. This series is over. I'm sorry, Sixers fan. I'm sorry. When LeBron James came there and dunked the ball that hard, put another crack in the bell, I think Boston Celtics might just take this bell back home with them. Because it's over. Because right now, it's about to be a Boston Tea Party in Philadelphia. Like I said, Robert Covington was 0 for 8 with 1 point. You can't win a game like that. Dario Saric 11 points. Then he had 2. We said Joel Embiid had 19 rebounds and 22 points, but Ben Simmons was 16, 8, and 8. Marco Bellinelli with 12, and Ersan Ilyasova with 14. They could have won this game. The reason I put that up there, 1 point for Robert Covington, and 0 for 8 from the field. He relied on a lot of threes a lot. He doesn't attack the hole. If he just scored 7 points, no doubt in my mind, Philly would have won this game. And the one thing Philadelphia fans keep about the series not over. When a team is up 3-0, and the chances are these teams, I think the record's 136-0 when a team is trailing. When a team is up 3-0, it's not happening. This game is over. Monday night, Philadelphia, it's been real. Get ready for football season. Just go over a couple blocks over and watch them Phillies play. This series is over. This team is still young. I keep telling everybody. They talk about trust the process, but there's no process to trust. Like I said, you got Amir Johnson who got playoff experience. He's not going to give you nothing. You got J.J. Redick who has a playoff experience. He's definitely not going to give you nothing because he want to shoot threes all the time. He cannot create and go to the hole. He only can create a 3-point shot. You don't really have a true playoff veteran there to put these guys together and calm them down. Because why? I say that because your true playoff veterans are J.J. Redick, who came off the bench for the Clippers. 2, your other one is Amir Johnson, who been coming off the bench pretty much for other teams when he was in the playoffs. These are guys you cannot rely on because these guys rely on the superstars they played with. So you don't have a true veteran you can rely on to tell these guys to calm it down and take their time. You're not going to win. That's what happened. You're going to fall short 101 and 98. The Celtics up 3-0. Like I said, people thought I was crazy because I had the Celtics winning in 5. Right now, they winning in 4. I'm still looking like a genius. I just gave you one game for the benefit of the doubt just because what y'all guys are doing this season. But y'all about to get swept on your own floor? Shame on you guys, but hey, Meek Mill been home from prison. He came home for the first game of that series. Y'all 0-1. Came to the next game, 0-2. Next game, 0-3. I mean, y'all said free Meek Mill, but no disrespect. If Meek Mill probably would have stayed in jail, y'all probably would have won the game. Meek Mill get more attention than the 76ers is. But hey, all due respect, Meek Mill is home. I'm glad he's home. For all that. I'm not taking shots at Meek Mill. I know people like he's trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just being a realist. Like, if Meek Mill would have stayed in jail, I think Philly would have won about 1 or 2 games. But right now, glad Meek Mill's home. He's a great artist. But right now, Boston is taking care of business as usual. They have one of the best coaches in the league. He makes some key adjustments. And one thing I seen on the press conference as the team was walking back through the tunnel, the Celtics was, they said, let's start watching, get ready for the Cavaliers game. Let's start breaking down film. They already calling their shots on y'all 76ers. I don't know how to take that. The next game, anything goes, anything is possible. That's kind of crazy. But, man, it's crazy. 76. As I was saying from the last series, the Boston Celtics and the 76ers, the process, y'all heard me say before earlier in the segment, the process went from 50% because they was halfway there. I numbed it all the way down to 10%. Because the Celtics is beating the odds right now. I had the Celtics winning in 5. Everybody else had the Celtics losing in 5. I had the Celtics winning in 5. Just because y'all are underestimated what Brad Stevens is doing over there with them group of guys. Praise them. So right now we're going to fast forward to the Toronto Raptors and the Cleveland Cavaliers. We know the Cavaliers was not the favorites in this series. A lot of people from social media to the TV outlets and platforms had the Cavaliers either getting swept or losing in 5. If you're not from Cleveland like me, by the way, I live in Charlotte now. If you didn't live in Cleveland, most people picking the Cavaliers to win this game. I said 6. I said the only reason the Cavaliers can easily get a sweep, I said this. You go look at the previous videos. I said, if Toronto give up game 1 to the Cavaliers, and we going back, how? The Cavaliers played a 7-game series with the Indiana Pacers, pushed the Cavaliers to the brink of elimination. You let the Cavaliers come on 1 day of rest and fly straight to Toronto. They had no time to prepare for you to get a game plan going. Come and steal game 1 on your floor. The night after that, come and take game 2 in emphatic fashion. Then you're looking at game 3 as the Cavaliers won 105-103. And they got help from a Jeff Green who chipped in 11 points. George Hill with 12 points. You had Kyle Korver, who was also lights out from downtown, 4 for 6 from the three-point line with 18 points. Kevin Love had 21 points and 16 rebounds. And the reason I said Kevin Love name because people have been very, very crucial of him as of late because what he's did in Indiana. Indiana, the way how they beat the Cavaliers, they didn't double team the Cavaliers. They stayed on LeBron James and they took Kevin Love out the equation. A lot of people didn't see like that. Oh, Kevin Love stay. He's a bum. He's not a bum if you got a game plan for a player. If you don't sit down and watch basketball the way I see it, and you watching basketball from a scoring ability, and how can he make himself? He was trying to score. His baskets wasn't falling. So when you look at where Indiana was doing, they kept Thaddeus Young on Kevin Love, and they had Lance Stevenson to be under LeBron James' skin. They wasn't switching. They wasn't double teaming. They said, you know what? We're going to make LeBron James play LeBron James basketball, but we're going to take one of his weapons away. And when the weapon was who? Kevin Love. Because outside the else of Kevin Love, who else was going to score for the Cavaliers? Toronto didn't come with that same game plan. First of all, you got a rookie guard on LeBron James in the last stretch of the game for a game winner. We don't want to speak about that. J.R. Smith had no points. He was 0 for 2, and people say, oh, J.R. Smith, we know he's a streaky shooter. But his whole objective of the game was to play defense on DeMar DeRozan. And we know DeMar DeRozan only had 8 points. And I get to them later and why he didn't play in the fourth quarter, because I'm still trying to figure that out. The one thing I wanted to say about this Cavaliers team, you cannot underestimate the heart of a champion. It's Kevin Love, LeBron James, Tristan Thompson, those guys, and J.R. Smith, and that coaching staff has been there when they need them the most to win games. They trust their pieces and their main assets to the game. Tyronn Lue, and what he's doing with this team, they're playing defense a little bit more. But some people say there's still some things that concern them. What's concerning is, to me, I don't know what's concerning about the people who said that, but what's concerning to me is the bench got to step up a little bit more. You still want to see Jordan Clarkson, you still want to see Rodney Hood and these guys knock down shots if they want to win a trophy. Because now, as you go on and get ready for the next rounds, games get a little tighter. Things become a little bit more congested. So you're looking for that next guy to take even more pressure off. A lot of people say, I don't see LeBron. How's LeBron James keeping up scoring 30-something points per game? That's unbelievable. Well, he did it when he won a championship, almost averaging 40, them alongside with Kyrie. So they can't say they can't believe it because it's possible. He has done it before. As I'm looking at where J.R. Smith played great defense on DeMar DeRozan, and the coach said this, Ty Lue said, every time Tristan Thompson and J.R. Smith bites on DeMar DeRozan head fake, he fines them $100. Who knows where that $100 goes? Maybe it goes to the Boys and Girls Club. But the whole thing that Tyronn Lue is trying to instill in J.R. Smith and Tristan Thompson is, do not fall for DeMar DeRozan head fake. You know what it's called? It's called discipline on defense. And he wasn't going forward for that head fake. As we fast forward to LeBron James, who had 3 steals, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, and 38 big points. And people, he's going into uncharted fields with this one. And people say, how's LeBron James a GOAT? And most people are going to say, he can't be the GOAT. Jordan got 6 rings. And I always argue with people with this. Oh, Michael Jordan got 6 rings. Ain't nobody better than Mike. Mike's 6-0. Time out. Throw a flag on the play, whatever. Technical foul. How could you not argue that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a.k.a. real name, Lou Alcindor, also had 6 rings, but they're not talking about it. He's a GOAT. All-time leading scorer in NBA history. Nobody can stop that skyhook. Come on now. But we look at his 6 rings, but I'm going to bring up another GOAT they never really talked about. His name is William Bill Russell, who played for the Boston Celtics. He has 11 championship rings. 11. 11-0. And people so quick say, oh, that don't count. We didn't see that. We wasn't born. Okay. You got kids that was born in 2000 and telling you Michael Jordan is a GOAT. Born in 2000 and telling you he's a GOAT. They ain't see none of Michael Jordan's 6 rings, but they got to yet to tell you he's a GOAT. When I heard Stephen A. Smith say Bill Russell championship rings don't count because they play in the era where there's only 9 teams to win a championship. It's the same thing you go to a rec league. Listen to what I'm saying about this. I know today's Sunday. I know I went to church and everything. But listen to what I'm about to say. So if you got a rec league that got 12 teams in it, and these same 12 teams playing that same rec league, now listen, playing that same rec league every year for the 13 years, and that same team win 11 championship rings out of 12. So you tell me they don't count because they not playing nobody? At the end of the day, somebody has to be the champion, and somebody got to be the loser. I'm sitting right here, right now, my man came and telling you Bill Russell was a GOAT. And I'm keep saying this till I turn black and blue in the face. Bill Russell has 11 championship rings. 10 as a player and 1 as a coach. He sat down to coach the Boston Celtics because their coach, Red Auerbach, got sick. And he said to coach, I'd coach him. I can lead this team to a championship. Do you think a Michael Jordan or LeBron James or Kobe Bryant or Magic Johnson could do the same thing with these teams? I'm going to tell you the answer would be no. But y'all not saying that on TV. They not saying this on TV. They keep bringing the fact that Bill Russell got 11 championship rings. Like I said, if you're going to study the game and do research, be like me. Don't be in front of the camera and saying all types of crazy stuff. I'm being so straight with this and straightforward because growing up, my father said, son, it's two different type of people that watch the game. You got the highlight seekers. You got the people who study the game. He said, son, which one you going to be? I said, Dad, I like the highlights. He said, but son, what you want to do? I want you to study the game. What do you see this game from? What's the history of this origin of the game? And that's what I did. Looking up the stats, seeing what made this team better, how this team lost, what things they could avoid from losing. They're not telling you this. They just show you highlights. They feeding you highlights. Highlights look good. But what led this game to this highlight? As we go forward, I'm telling you, the highlight of this game was at halftime, Toronto. Your two All-Stars, Kyle Lowry, 3 points at halftime. DeMar DeRozan. No, DeMar DeRozan had 3 points. Kyle Lowry had 7. And I'm trying to fathom, these are your stars of your team. Your all-stars. We the North. Yay. But LeBronto, you can't stop LeBron James. Your stars at halftime was combined for 10 points. I keep telling everybody about these Raptors team. This team is regular season great team. Playoffs, this is a different beast. These guys are nowhere to be found. They had a thing of a Serge Ibaka missing in action. You might as well add Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan name to that too, because these guys never show up when you need them to. And they got the best record in the East. Records don't mean nothing when it's the playoffs start. Everybody 0-0. Everybody, who gonna be the first team to win 16 games to get the trophy? That's what the race on to. We don't care about regular season because guess what? Regular season is over. That's all for the fans. The second half of the season is about the players and that coaching staff and that locker room. And I'm looking at Serge Ibaka and I heard the commentary, oh, he's having a great game. 11 points, 8 rebounds, still missing layups, still shooting threes, doesn't make your team better, plays soft, a finesse player, he's not a banger. You want Serge Ibaka to bang. CJ Miles, 13 points, 6 rebounds. I was trying to figure out why, late in the fourth quarter, why CJ Miles wasn't out there guarding LeBron James. Everybody know LeBron was only going left for that game when he shot. Kyle Lowry had 27 points. He got hot, but he stopped being aggressive late in the fourth quarter. Jonas Valanciunas with 11 rebounds and 10 points. It doesn't matter. So far, he's been averaging double-double this whole series, and it still is not leading into a win. OG Anunoby, 18 points, 4 rebounds. I forgot. You know LeBron James had the ball. Why hasn't Pascal Sigma pick up LeBron James in half court too to force the ball for a turnover? They let LeBron James run all the way up the sideline to hit a game-winning shot off the glass. Not only off the glass, but by the Toronto Raptors bench. How sweet it is. I go to DeMar DeRozan. I'm saving him for last. He had 8 points. DeMar DeRozan. I'm still trying to figure out why he didn't play in the fourth quarter. I know you got to roll with the guys that is hot at the present moment in time, but DeMar DeRozan should have been out there. This is the reason why Toronto played him the big bucks. I feel like Dwayne Casey right now is being out-coached. Right now his team is being outplayed. You see him every time the Cavaliers go up by 10 to 15 points, this team put their heads down their lap. They go into defeat mode. They go into look like we've been defeated by LeBron James. How do we defeat this guy? The question is, it starts from the coaching staff and up to the front office. Y'all say y'all had the bench mob. I understand that. I only know one bench mob. And that's when I was younger in high school. And that was the Sacramento Kings. Now that was a bench mob with the Bobby Jacksons and Doug Christie. Now that was a bench mob. Scott Pollard. Them boys can score. Gerald Wallace, a.k.a. Crash. That was a bench mob. People forgot about that type of bench mob. Hito Turkoglu off the bench. That's a bench mob. As the Raptors, how they lost this game, they lost confidence in themselves, in each other. There's nobody to pick them up. They don't have no fight. I thought the end of the Pacers probably gave the Cavaliers a way better and battle contested game. DeMar DeRozan with 8 points and set the bench in the fourth quarter. If I was the GM of the Raptors, Majiri, right now, I gotta have a one-on-one talk with Dwayne Casey. What are you doing? We go for number 1 seed to the laughingstock of the NBA. Only one team so far this year been swept in the playoffs. That's the Portland Trail Blazers. Now you get a team swept in the second round. Maybe it's going to be 2. Sixers on the brink of elimination, as well as the Raptors. As I'm looking at this Raptors team, you got Majiri, the GM of the Raptors, got to talk to Dwayne Casey. Because right now, no one says, I talked to the people in Toronto, Dwayne Casey's on the hot seat. If he gets swept, he's getting fired. I'm going to just make a little joke. Because Cleveland's always the butt of the jokes. Dwayne Casey had that suit on the Cavaliers award about 2 games ago. But his suit a little bit baggy. It's the same suit that Steve Harvey had on the Kings of Comedy. Dwayne Casey, you're being out-coached. You're in the hot seat, my brother. You're probably going to get fired if you lose this game Monday night. Because you haven't changed the culture of the team. The culture of the team is still the same. This team doesn't play the same way that they did in the first half. In the second half, they played tight in the third quarter and they dripped away in the fourth quarter. This team is being demoralized by LeBron James. Y'all are being LeBron right now. LeBron James right now is a GOAT. Everybody keep bringing up rings. I already explained it. Bill Russell's a GOAT. The dude took off a season to be NBA champion. LeBron James, they always talk about men lie, numbers don't. That's actually true. Men and women do lie, but numbers don't. But LeBron James, what he's doing is historical. Historical. That's all I'm going to say. What this team did, they punched this team in the mouth since game 1. And this Toronto Raptors team is still on the ground looking for their teeth. As that being said, I'm Tay Wiz reporting live from the Man Cave. I'm out of here.